Let's begin with the latest updates on Russia's war in Ukraine. Russia has said that it destroyed a military airport in Kyiv. Russian armed forces launched a strike with long-range airborne precision weapons against an airfield in the Kyiv region, hitting all designated targets. Meanwhile, Ukraine has said that it conducted a drone attack against a Russian military airfield in the Kursk region. Russian investigators have said that genetic tests confirm that Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed in the plane crash last week. Russia had earlier released a passenger list with the names of all the people on board. This included Prigozhin and his right-hand man, Dmitry Utkin. The crash happened 2 months after Prigozhin led a failed mutiny against the Russian military's top brass. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken about the possibility of an election in the country next year. He said that voting could take place during wartime if partners shared the cost. This comes after US Senator Lindsey Graham, who visited Kyiv recently, said that Ukraine needs to hold elections in wartime. In Ukraine, elections cannot be held under martial law, but that is due to expire on November 15th. Some people in Germany protested against the West's role in escalating the war in Ukraine by supplying weapons. Protesters held banners and placards which read, "Weapons don't create peace." They called upon the US and other countries to immediately stop sending weapons to Ukraine. The protesters also criticized the German government, accusing them of escalating tensions abroad while neglecting domestic problems. A white man who killed 3 black people in a racially motivated shooting in the US state of Florida has been identified as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmeter. He bought his guns legally and had no criminal history. The shooter left a manifesto which authorities call the Diary of a Madman. Police said that he knew what he was doing. Authorities added that the shooter hated black people. Zimbabwe's opposition leader Nelson Chamisa has rejected the re-election of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Chamisa, the leader of the Citizens Coalition for Change party, said, "It is clear that we are rejecting the election as a sham." Zimbabwe's election commission announced that 80-year-old Mnangagwa won 52% of the votes, while Chamisa won 44%. At least 5 people have been killed in an explosion at an illegal firecracker factory in the Indian state of West Bengal. The building housing the firecracker factory collapsed after the blast. Several people were severely burnt and were rushed to a hospital. An investigation has been launched to determine the cause of the blast. India's moon mission Chandrayaan-3 has sent information on the soil at the moon's south pole. The Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, shared a graph on the variation of the moon's soil temperature. This comes just days after India became the first country to successfully land a spacecraft near the moon's south pole. Japan's space agency has suspended the launch of a rocket that was to carry a moon lander into space. The launch was cancelled due to unsuitable wind conditions in the upper atmosphere. The rocket was to be launched from the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Tanegashima Space Center. A Japanese government spokesperson has said that there have been instances of harassment phone calls from China. This is regarding the release of treated radioactive wastewater from Japan's Fukushima power plant into the Pacific Ocean. Japan has called the harassment calls extremely regrettable. The Japanese government has called upon China to ask its people to act calmly. Meanwhile, over 500 Japanese residents from across the country gathered in Fukushima's Iwaki city over the weekend. This was to protest the discharge of the Fukushima wastewater. The protesters demanded an immediate halt to the discharge. Japan started releasing the treated water into the ocean last Thursday. Hundreds of residents were evacuated in eastern China. This was after heavy rains triggered flooding and landslides in multiple provinces. Yidu, a city in China's Hubei province, has issued a red alert. Heavy rains and strong winds have swept across parts of Spain's Mallorca island. Strong winds have brought down trees and caused debris to crash into buildings. Strong torrents of floodwater were also seen gushing down the roads. Footage shows a massive waterspout over England's Isle of Wight. The UK's Met Office said that it was spotted over the weekend. Waterspouts are tornadoes that occur over a body of water but do not reach land. Tropical storm Idalia has formed in the Caribbean. It could strengthen into a hurricane. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, the storm may bring high winds to the U.S. state of Florida later this week. The forecaster added that Idalia could cause a life-threatening storm surge and heavy rains may lead to flooding. Reports say that the search and rescue operations of the deadly Maui fires have ended. The death toll from the fires has reached 115. Meanwhile, hundreds of people are still unaccounted for. The fires started earlier this month. These were the deadliest wildfires in the United States in more than a century. Pope Francis prayed for the victims of the Greece wildfires. The fires have scorched tens of thousands of hectares of land. The European Union-backed Copernicus Climate Change Service said that the blazes in northern Greece have been raging for 7 days. It added that this was the largest recorded wildfire on European soil in years. A tigress has given birth to 3 cubs in India's West Bengal state. According to the latest figures, India's tiger population increased by nearly 7% in 2022. This is compared to the number of tigers in 2018. India was home to an estimated 40,000 tigers at the turn of the last century. However, poaching and the loss of habitat have brought them to the brink of extinction. China has reportedly made significant achievements in biodiversity conservation in recent years. Species like Asian elephants, snow leopards, and northeastern tigers have achieved restorative growth. Their habitat and reproduction environment continue to improve. A number of ecological programs are helping save the endangered flora and fauna species from the verge of extinction. Colombian conservationists released 1,200 baby turtles into the sea. This marks the final stage of a conservation project. The project is aimed at protecting Colombia's freshwater turtles from illegal trade and natural predators. On to business and tech news. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo arrived in China on Sunday night. This is her first trip to the country. Raimondo is holding 3 days of talks with government and business leaders in China. With the visit, she seeks to boost business relations between Washington and Beijing. Raimondo is the 4th senior American official to travel to China in recent months. Shares of China's Evergrande Group fell by as much as 87% during early trading hours today. This comes after trading resumed for shares of the company following a 17-month suspension. This has wiped out almost $2.4 billion of the company's value. Evergrande is the world's most indebted property developer. It is at the center of a crisis in China's property sector that has seen a string of debt defaults since late 2021. The electronics arm of Chinese firm BYD has struck a deal with a US-based manufacturing firm, Jabil. It will buy Jabil's China manufacturing business for more than $2 billion. The purchase will help BYD expand its customer base, product portfolio, and its smartphone business. The deal marks the latest retreat by a manufacturer from China. This comes amid rising geopolitical tensions between China and the US. Chinese electric car company XPeng will acquire ride-hailing giant DiDi's smart electric vehicle unit. The deal could be worth more than $700 million. The two companies will also form a strategic partnership. As part of the deal, XPeng plans to launch a new EV brand in partnership with DiDi in 2024. Private equity firm VERITAS Capital has offered to buy mobile phone company BLACKBERRY. The financial details of the deal have not been disclosed. Meanwhile, BlackBerry is also in talks with other potential buyers. In May, the company had said that it was considering strategic options for its business. National Australia Bank is reportedly preparing to cut around 60 jobs. The layoffs would affect the markets division within the National Australia Bank's corporate and multinational banking unit. If confirmed, this will wipe off 10% of the unit's workforce. US Trade Chief Catherine Tai has raised concerns with India. This is over India's new order on the import of electronics. The order mandates licensing of companies for the import of items like laptops, tablets, and personal computers. Tai's concerns come amid worries that India's new rules could impact shipments from companies like Apple and Dell. Canada's second quarter GDP report is likely to show a sharp slowdown in economic growth. This is according to analysts. The GDP report is expected to show that the economy grew at a pace of 1.1% in the second quarter. This is a decrease from the last quarter, where growth was at 3.1%. Analysts believe that this could lead to Canada's central bank pausing its interest rate hikes. The report is due on Friday. Social media company X has introduced a new feature. It will allow organizations to post job listings on the platform. The company says this is exclusively available for verified organizations. The feature is currently in its beta version. The jobs will be posted under a specific section called "We are hiring." This will appear just below the bio of the company's account. Artificial intelligence can be used to decode signals from the brain and translate them. This is according to a new study. Researchers have sought a way to bridge the connection between the brain, the vocal tract, and muscle movement. This will enable people affected by strokes, paralysis, or other debilitating conditions to communicate. Moving to sports. In football, FIFA has suspended Spain's football chief Luis Rubiales for 90 days. He has also been asked not to contact footballer Jenny Hermoso during his suspension. Rubiales had kissed Spain's Hermoso after they won the Women's World Cup. This was during post-match celebrations. He has been widely criticized for his gesture. However, 46-year-old Rubiales has refused to step down despite mounting pressure. Liverpool beat Newcastle 2-1 in the English Premier League on Sunday. Newcastle's Anthony Gordon netted the first goal in the 25th minute. Liverpool were then reduced to 10 men. Captain Virgil van Dijk received a red card in the 28th minute. But substitute Darwin Núñez, who came on in the 77th minute, scored two late goals for Liverpool to seal the win. Barcelona won 4-3 against Villarreal in La Liga. Barca took an early lead in the game with goals from Gavi and Frankie de Jong. But Villarreal made a sweeping comeback and were leading 3-2 after 50 minutes. Then Barca's Ferran Torres levelled the game 3-3 in the 68th minute, and Robert Lewandowski's goal 3 minutes later saw Barcelona through the match. Italian coach Roberto Mancini has been named the head coach of Saudi Arabia's national team. Mancini's contract lasts until 2027. The deal is reportedly worth around $27 million per year. Mancini will make his debut in the dugout for Saudi Arabia on September 8th. In tennis, the first round of the 2023 US Open begins today. Defending champion Iga Swiatek will play against Rebecca Peterson of Sweden. Men's world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz, his opening match is against Dominic Kopfer. World number 2 Novak Djokovic will face France's Alexander Muller in his first match. India's Neeraj Chopra won gold in the javelin event at the World Athletics Championships. Chopra was not happy with the first throw in the final and decided not to register that initial score. In his second attempt, he recorded a throw of 88.17 meters. Chopra is the first ever Indian to win gold at the World Athletics Championship. The Indian men's 4x400 relay team finished 5th in the final at the World Athletics Championships. They clocked a time of 2 minutes and 59.92 seconds. This is India's best finish in a relay event at the World Championships. Earlier, the Indian quartet had broken the Asian record to enter the final. India's Parul Chaudhary finished 11th in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase final at the World Athletics Championships. She clocked a national record of 9 minutes and 15.31 seconds. With this, Chaudhary has also managed to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the Dutch Grand Prix on Sunday. With this, he has equaled Sebastian Vettel's record of 9 successive Formula One wins. Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso secured the second position. In gymnastics, Simone Biles won her record 8th national title at the US Gymnastics Championships. She broke the record for the most all-round titles for a man or woman. And remember, Biles returned to gymnastics less than a month ago after a 2-year break. News from the world of entertainment now. Extreme heat has impacted the ongoing Hollywood strike in various regions across America. The Hollywood unions SAG-AFTRA and the WGA have suspended picketing at multiple locations in Los Angeles on Monday and Tuesday. This comes as temperatures are expected to rise. The WGA also cancelled picketing on all locations in the San Fernando Valley. This is the region that houses some major Hollywood studios, including Warner Brothers, Disney, and NBC Universal. Actor Henry Winkler has weighed in on the ongoing Hollywood strike. He said, and I quote, "Most of the people in my industry don't have enough. It is very important that we all make sure everybody has enough." The Writers Guild of America began its strike on May 2nd. The Hollywood Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, joined the strike on July 13th. Director Denis Villeneuve is hopeful about making the Dune movies a trilogy. He has teased the possibility of Dune Part 3. In a recent interview, Villeneuve said, and I quote, "If I succeed in making a trilogy, that would be the dream. I would say that are words on paper." Dune Part 2 is reportedly shifting its premiere from October 2023 to March 2024 amid the ongoing Hollywood strike. Stranger Things star Joe Keery has spoken about how he feels now that the series is coming to an end. He said, and I quote, It does feel like it's time, but it won't be easy for it to end." Keery debuted in 2016 with the role of Steve Harrington in the Netflix series. Through 4 seasons, Harrington's character went from being a bad high school boy to an ally of the main squad. Singer Adele stopped her concert in Las Vegas to take a stand for a fan who was being bothered by security. Adele asked the security personnel to leave her fan alone. She added, and I quote, "He's just here to have fun. No one will bother you anymore. Enjoy the show." This happened when Adele was singing her hit song, "Water Under the Bridge." Singer Liam Payne has announced that he has been hospitalized because of a serious kidney infection. Payne has postponed his South American tour, but he said that he will try to reschedule it. Liam Payne is a former member of the band One Direction. Singer Miley Cyrus has revealed why filming her new song, Used to Be Young, was an emotional journey for her. In the video, Cyrus tearfully reflected on her adolescence as she sang the song. The singer said that she is a mini version of her mother. She added that the music video is a reflection of her true emotions, which people don't get to see these days. Actor Mitchell Musso has been arrested in the US state of Texas. He was charged with public intoxication, theft, and a failure to display a driver's license. Musso was reportedly released on a $1,000 bond. The actor is famous for playing the role of Oliver Oaken in the Disney show Hannah Montana. American rapper Tyga has reacted to former partner and model Blac Chyna's willingness to seek joint custody of their son, King Cairo Stevenson. Tiger said, 10 years later, nah, stick to your schedule Saturday to Monday. Tiger and Blac Chyna dated between 2011 and 2014. Blac Chyna also has a daughter with media personality Robert Kardashian. Game show host Bob Barker has died at the age of 99. Barker's career spans 8 decades. He was known for being the longtime host of the show The Price is Right. Barker began hosting the show in 1956. Barker also landed cameo appearances on TV shows including Family Guy.